So the zonal concept was given in 2015, said that you divide your revision knee into epiphysis, metaphysis and diaphyseal area, and to get a stable and a durable fixation, you must get stable fixation in 2 out of the 3 zones. So if your revision knee x-rays are looking like this, the zonal fixation is inadequate and it will fail. So why do revision knee replacements fail? Apart from infection, aseptic loosening is a major cause, and this zonal fixation article in 2015 JBJS, I advise all of you all to read this. It is a major seminal article about revision knees. So the first surface is epiphysis. It is often affected by primary failure and removal of implants. We need to establish stable surface with flat aligned cuts. If there are defects, they need to be augmented with cement, grafts or metal augments. So generally in femur, as we heard, you require distal and posterior augments. In tibia, bone graft, cement or step cut augments can be used. So a case of a failed uni, tibia was loose. So you can see that at the time of removal, there is minimal bone loss in the femur. Defect on the proximal tibia. Tibia is removed. The undersurface of the tibia, the damaged poly, and after removing that, you can see that the degree of defect which is there in the epiphysis on the medial part has been bone grafted, and a primary implant has been used with a little stem. So stable zonal fixation, and this lady has gone to do really well. A failed total knee was tackled by a tibial augment with a stem, and this lady also did well. So mainly epiphyseal failures. Another failed uni, dislocated loose, tackled with a tibial augment and a stem and a cruciate retaining knee. Then we come to zone 2, metaphyseal. The stable fixation for durable fixation is critical. Historically, we used to use cement or bulk allografts. The currents are sleeves and cones, as we have heard, and we may even use impaction bone grafting. So sleeves are attached to implant. They are implant specific. They help in fixation as well as augmentation, but there is a fracture risk. Cones are attached to bone. They are implant agnostic. They augment the fixation, and there is some evidence that these can be bacteriostatic. Both are great, but there is evidence that cones score marginally over the sleeves. So we heard this. So a patient with a failed total knee, 7 years down, infection markers normal. So on table you can see the extent of osteolysis. This is there. There was a broken post, non-infective. Femoral component is removed. Particulate debris, bone loss. Femur is cleaned. This is that ice cream cone. Damaged epiphysis and metaphysis. You can see the tibia is thoroughly rotatable and completely loose. Extensive tibial bone loss, reconstructed with impaction bone grafting and with sleeves. So this is what it looked like post-operatively, and this lady has done well, and this I did with a subvastus approach, which also we have published, and done well over the next 2 years, and she's still doing well. So cones can be titanium, tantalum, 3D printed. They are ultra porous, bacteriostatic. It can be considered as a metallic bone graft, and there is a complete freedom to implant your stem in whichever way you want. So first generation cones, we heard, required a burr. Second generation have different sizing options. There is instrumentation and you can get a better fit. And third generation are flexible and compressible so that there is a lower risk of fracture. So this is a case that I borrowed from Ashok Rajgopal, where he has stacked the cones to reconstruct zone 2 fixation of the femur. This AORI classification is critical. So the first type A is the metaphyseal bone is intact. In type 2, there is a metaphyseal bone defect, but only one condyle is affected. In type 2AB, both condyles are affected. and if there is total deficiency, then it is type C. So stems can aid in fixation, help in alignment, impart rotational stability, offload the metaphyseal region, reduce stress, can be cemented or uncemented. So cemented stems are generally short, stubby. You can put antibiotics in it. They don't really help in alignment, but there is no stem tip pain. Can be used when diaphysis is deformed. Uncemented press-fit stems can aid in alignment and can be easily removed if required. The current preference is for short cemented stems, but if you are using uncemented diaphyseal engaging stems, you need at least minimum 4 centimeter of press fit with adequate canal fill ratio. That means the width of the stem to the endosteal diameter at the stem tip should be more than 0.85. So for success, friends, you require zonal preoperative analysis. You don't forget zone 2, and you should plan to achieve solid fixation in at least 2 zones. I thank you for your attention.